we are slowing down to about 10 knots or so.
There is perhaps no better way to appreciate the beauty of this planet
Something just popped at 11.
than to spend a few moments at sea with Colin Greeley and his friends.
So they do breathe air, they don't breathe underwater like fish do.
On this day, the show was primarily being put on by humpback whales and dolphins.
So we are pretty much surrounded by wildlife now.
But Colin is constantly on the lookout for a very specific type of mammal.
Double fluking dive.
There are just 350 North Atlantic right whales left on the entire planet. Climate change is making it harder for them to find food. But this critically endangered species' biggest enemy is fishing gear.
One of the things that's so compelling about right whales is we know almost every single individual in the population.
Even after decades of studying right whales, it still breaks Philip Hamilton's heart each time he encounters a whale that's become entangled. The pictures are hard to see.
Sometimes I just look at the screen and I say I'm sorry, because just what we are, it's hard to see. It's a big issue.
In this animation from the New England Aquarium, you can see how whales become caught in fishing lines. They then use the force of their bodies to try and break free. 80% of right whales die from entanglement.
And since 2017, 49 right whales have either been killed or seriously injured and probably will die from their injuries.
A staggering statistic for a population of 350. But deep below the surface of the ocean, there are efforts underway to keep those right whales from becoming entangled.
We call it a ropeless fishing system.
Rob Morris is with a company called Edge Tech.
This cover comes off.
They have developed a new type of lobster trap. Instead of leaving fishing lines permanently in the water,
and this is the motor for the release.
This trap has a rope kept inside of it.
And if I just hit the release command.
When a fisherman is ready to retrieve that lobster trap, an app tells it to deploy a buoy to the surface.
And that comes off. It's becoming more popular. People are actually seeing that it can work, and it does work.
There are tens of millions of fishing lines in our nation's waterways. If these traps could reduce those numbers, even by just a fraction, it could mean one less entanglement.
Some fishermen don't want to have anything to do with it. They don't think it's necessary.
Michael Lane is not one of those people.
It's not a job, it's a lifestyle.
Michael is trying to work out the kinks as part of a pilot program. But these so-called ropeless lobster traps are still years away from receiving federal approval.
We don't want to see them go extinct.
He does not want to see the right whale disappear.
It's either stay home and cry about it or figure out a solution.
But Michael also barely makes enough money to pay the bills. Mandating these traps be used all over the country will likely take federal grants. Each apparatus costs around $4 grand. Money fishermen just don't have.
How do you invest in a business that's so expensive when you don't know if you're going to be able to fish year to year? It gets harder and harder to make those capital investments.
But the investment is better than the alternative. Officials often close fishing grounds when right whales are spotted. That means no income for people like Michael.
What am I going to do if they shut this down? What am I going to do? I have a high school diploma that I stole from the high school, for Christ's sakes.
Saving these whales is not easy.
This is a mom and calf humpback whale pair.
Which brings us back to that whale watch. While they didn't see any right whales on this day, Colin Greeley sees every trip as an opportunity to educate the public about the danger this species is in.
Especially on these whale watches, we get to see thousands of people every single summer. So it's a lot of people that are listening and a lot of people that we get a chance to get to. And it's really important to protect as many species as possible.
Because once they're gone, that's it for the North Atlantic right whale.
Oh.
Somewhere on the Atlantic Ocean,
Oh, what a day.
I'm Chris Condi.